live in a world that is rife with challenges and problems, and so there really are so many issues that are legitimate basis for documentaries. What we are always in search of as programmers is access. So it's very hard when someone comes in with an extremely important topic to know how to handle that conversation. Turns to the fact that there isn't an idea for a film in that. So what is the currency in my world is access. So I want to really shift the conversation to what we mean by that. And I think that some of the stories that I'm sure you have about how you've each gained access would be, illustrative for the audience. So I want to start with you, Jehane, because when I think about the square and I have the opportunity to meet you today, and I wanted to ask you this question about how you met Ahmed and how, what that meant to you as a filmmaker. So I want to ask you to quickly tell that story, but the true question I have for you about access is with Al Jazeera and how you got access at that time to Al Jazeera.
Okay, well, so with the square, it helped a lot that access is everything, right? I mean, that's, for the films that I make, if you don't have access and the trust of your characters, you don't have anything. And in terms of your characters trusting you, you can sign 1 million bits of paper with them. Really, it all goes out the window unless there's this trust, because they can limit your access really at any time. So with the square, I live about 10 minutes away from Tahrir Square. I grew up about 10 minutes away. My family still lives there. And it made a big difference that I was Egyptian and could speak Arabic, because at the time, the government was accusing a lot of people of being spies, and so everybody was very conscious about sort of foreign journalists being there. You all probably saw the news reports of what was happening to many of foreign journalists. I met Ahmed, and his charisma, if you've seen the film, his charisma kind of leaps off the screen. He to me, he embodied everything that was beautiful about the spirit of the revolution and what people hoped for. And I look for characters that are going to take me into the center of the story that I want to tell. So he embodied all of that. He also was in the middle of conflict all the time. It was as if he was sort of searching for it because he wanted to engage with people. And so I knew that he was going to bring me into the center of what I wanted to look at. And I would say that's the case for every character that I choose. And really, it was a question of, we slept in the square. I got to be close to him and just building trust like you would, with making a friend. And that's why it helps a lot for me that I find characters that I actually really admire and like and want to spend time with for the next couple of years, because it's very difficult to be fake about that. And people feel that, and so that was really. I mean, I still have a very strong relationship with Ahmed and with all of the characters that I've followed. With Al Jazeera, this was for Control Room. It was a film about really the media war, and took place as the war was breaking out, as the invasion was happening, between the offices of Al Jazeera, which was broadcasting to the Arab world, and 10 minutes away was Central Command, where all of the foreign journalists were, as well as the US press officers. I had no access to Al Jazeera when I went there, but I knew that I was watching television in New York, and we were getting this, duct tape your doors, and in the United States is a shock and awe campaign, and in the Middle East, where my family is, people were saying, how does the US think that they can bring peace through war and dropping bombs? This doesn't make any sense. And I just wanted to be in the middle of news creation. But obviously, Al Jazeera was extremely busy at that time. They were trying to make sure that they had locations in Iraq that they could be in, and they had no time to answer an email from a filmmaker wanting to get access. So I flew there. I just flew to Qatar, checked into a hotel, and pretty much camped out in they have a security guard's office outside Al Jazeera, so you can't even just walk in to the station. So I basically camped out in that security guard's station for a week. I finally got a meeting with the general manager of Al Jazeera. I had a contact at American University in Cairo who had sent a few interns to Al Jazeera to work there during the summers, and so he got me a meeting. And it was hard because they sort of said they didn't understand this, startup.com. I had followed our characters for a year and a half. They were like, a year and a half? No way, we'll give you a week. So at this point, I was like, I brought in a camera person who was a very good-looking guy who flirted with the secretary of the general manager every day, you do whatever you can. And so we kept getting a week extended, a week extended, a week extended. And, that's how it happened. But initially, actually, initially he said you can have a week, and then we found out that the BBC had sort of signed a deal for exclusive access. And so we were like, we don't have access to the newsroom, and basically that all we could have access to was pretty much the cafeteria, the bathrooms, and I started filming from like 2 in the morning till 8 in the morning every day to sort of avoid the general manager. I mean, it was sneaky filming initially, and then I got to be very close with 2 of the characters that we followed, and they sort of ended up being Hassan and Samir, who were the main characters, ended up sort of ensuring that we got the access we needed.
What it takes.